Oh, we all love sanding, don't we? Every single project. So let's check out what my sanding kit looks like. Well, that is pathetic. I think it's time to go shopping and level up my sanding game. So I've gone for a couple of bits of kit to allow me to do lots of curves. I've gone for a new Dewalt random orbit sander and plenty of accessories. So next it was time to build somewhere to store all this stuff. Here's what I came up with. Boom! Check out that bad boy. So I also had quite a few tools around the workshop that didn't have their own place. So I thought while I'm doing this, build some extra storage and make it look cool. If you haven't tried SketchUp before, I definitely recommend it. I like to think of my builds like a car factory, moving from one station to the next, adding a few bits until you get to the finishing line. It's amazing with SketchUp how many problems I solve before I even get into the workshop. And if you're a home woodworker like me, that is gold dust, because every minute I'm in that workshop, I need to be getting stuff done. So like most projects, you start off taking big pieces and you make them a bit smaller, and it's no different with this one. To start with, we're cutting all the pieces we need for the first stage of the plan. It's basically two simple carcasses joined together with dominoes. For the design of this, it was easier if I could reference all the positions for the dominoes off of one side. So I just set up two of these things to do that. I should really learn what they're called. I've realised I use them in almost every video. So for the purpose of this one, I'm going to call them an adjustable square. This glue up was brutal. It was really hot in the UK last week. Normally with this sort of project, I'd dry fit everything together first to make sure I hadn't messed anything up. But I decided just to go through it with glue, fingers crossed. Well, luckily everything worked out well, which is a good job. I probably would have just binned the whole project off if I couldn't get a box to fit together. Okay, that's stage one complete. Stage 2 is simply creating 4 braces that will join the 2 boxes together, and this will create a little recess where the dust extraction will go at the bottom, and then we'll have a sliding drawer just in the top part. A little known fact, Thomas Chippendale actually used to use pocket hole screws. I think that's true. Stage 2 complete. Oh, we're motoring along now. Stage 3 is the slide out drawers which the Festool sustainers sit on. I wanted these to almost be the same thickness as the drawer runners to save space, but it felt a bit risky putting dominoes into something that thin, so I decided to put the dominoes in first and then rip it down to the smaller size. I'm ready for the beach, and it also looks like the paint fairies have been in the workshop again. They've done a nice job finishing off these shelves. Now it's time to get the drawer runners fitted on. For projects like this in the workshop, I always tend to use the finger pull router bit straight along the top. Although in previous videos I've already admitted I just love using it, they are quite handy in the workshop because it stops cables getting hung up when you're moving around. Workshop projects are great for experimenting and trying things out. So when I did these drawer fronts, I actually put some water and glue mixture on top of the routed cut edge, just to see if it sanded down and gave me a slightly better paint finish. Honestly, I'm not that sure I could tell the difference, but you know, it made me feel really professional. Alright, you've spotted it. I've got a bit of cash now, I can afford to buy myself ball bearing draw runners. So that's stage 3 in the bank. Okay, time to see what's next. Ah yes, we're making the draw box now for the wider section. And in about 10 seconds time, I'm going to really regret not paying more attention during this step. When you make these pocket hole style drawer boxes, the idea is that the pocket holes go in the front face and the back face. That way, when you put the drawer front on, everything's hidden and then they just look cool. But I decided to put the pocket hole joinery on the side of the box for some reason. But don't worry, I'm going to spot it in a minute, you watch. Okay, so apart from it being a little bit annoying, it also meant that I was about 18mm short of the size I needed on both sides of the drawer. So I knocked up a couple of pieces that would just sit behind the drawer runner, and this would bring the sides of the carcass out by 18mm. Job's a good one. Nice. Okay, just a few more components to make now. So a bit more cutting, a bit more sanding, and a bit more painting. When fitting Euro hinges, usually the maximum distance away from the edge of the door is about 7mm and the minimum's 3, so I tend to go for 5mm in the middle, assuming I'll get a bit of adjustability. The way I do this is I measure from the centre of the Forstner bit out to the edge, which is 18mm, plus the 5 is 23mm, and then I use a adjustable square to mark a little cross on the door and then cut it through. If you find yourself fitting a lot of these, it's well worth buying the Blum door hinge jig. It's a cracking little bit of kit and makes it all very easy. Once you've transferred the marks that you already made for the hinge into the inside of the carcass, you just then get the jig, line it up with the little triangle, drill through the little holes, and then voila! Perfect. Nice one, Blum. Or is it Bloom? to nail on the last bit of trim, and then this stage, oh, I've lost count already, but this one's done. Worktop next, and first I had to cut a hole so I could get the dust extractor to poke through. I love using these WD-40 circular jigs, they're a great invention. I think they do some other products as well. When you're doing these sort of cuts, it's worth getting to know your down-cut blades from your up-cut blades. You get it the wrong way around and you can end up with a lovely finish on the bottom of your workpiece and a right load of chip out on the top. Just don't ask how I know that.
Wave smoothly.
This has all turned out nice. Well happy with this one. Now I better think of something to make quickly for the house so I can justify being in the workshop all this time. I think a coat hook should do it. See you next time.